G'day everybody, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. We are in the submersible. We just successfully saved various Gondians and other folks as well, a Meluum. And yeah, we're about to disembark. I just want to see if I can have a chat with certain people. I don't know if they say anything, or if it's even...
Please, I want to ask you something.
Worth speaking to any of these guys? I guess maybe yes.
I can't thank you enough. I was certain that place was to be my cold, wet tomb. You saved us. Saved us all. I thought it impossible, but you did it. We were kept hostage to control our families and the Steel Watch Foundry, to keep them building Gortash's death machines. Please. They need to know what happened here. They have no reason to obey Gortash anymore. If they rebel, it'll put a dent in Gortash's steel might.
Well, that's the plan, is to go to the Foundry once more and tell them that everyone's safe and they should pretty much stop doing what they're doing. Don't forget, we did also, did we have a long rest between the Foundry and the submersible? I think we did. And that sort of worries me a little bit because we did knock a few of those Gondians out, right? So, assuming they're all sort of alive and well now, and if they don't have any reason to be building any of the Steel Watchers anymore, then maybe it's safe to go back there? How do you think I found you to begin with? Your father sent me.
He did? Of course he did! I knew it. I knew he would do something.
Nice. Do all of these people say anything, or...?
By God, I'm glad you showed up. Hopefully Frel's not too worried about me.
Yeah, I guess they all have a little bit of dialogue.
What they were doing with us was... horrid. Thank you for saving me.
Should we check in?
Listen, lad. Only a special sort could have done what you did. Thank you.
With all of them, maybe? Santoria.
You were so heroic. My word. I can't wait to tell Scorv what happened. Gods, I hope he's alright.
Unfortunately, there is one Gondian that had to die, right? Like, well, he sort of went through, I guess Ursa or someone and took an attack of opportunity and died as a result.
Featherweight Falson will be back in the ring in no time. Once my daughter Claw is freed.
Back in the ring?
That was amazing! Like one of them old hero stories. Thank you.
I guess I will check in on everyone in that case, because, you know, we're already done halfway.
Ogro! It's free! Free!
He didn't seem very happy about being free, though. Phoenix.
Bloody hells! I was a goner for sure! Thank you.
My sincerest thanks, friend. I don't know what possessed you to find us in that place, but I am surely glad you did.
My lord, your act of valor will go down in Gondian history!
Still hurts. But thank you.
It's over, right? There's not more cutting. Thank God.
More cutting. Maybe he's been tortured or something. Maybe Ravengard?
I'll get to your camp. We'll talk there.
Okay. And a Meluum.
I want to have a word.
Your world's air. I never imagined missing its feeling on my skin. Curious. I owe you a great debt, Sunchild. One I shall repay. When I return to the surface, I will alert my colleagues at the Society. Find me there, and I will offer you what aid I can against this evil.
Okay, yeah, we do need to go back to the society in that case. I suppose we should just leave and... I suppose maybe I should have...
It's over! It's finally
Submersible's
over!
broken.
We're
Can't seem to
safe!
turn it on.
Get everyone else grouped up and we should all leave together. Alright, and what about that Red Hammer guy? Didn't really get a chance to speak to him.
Heading out.
Thank you again! May Gon's grace guide you.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Okay, so they do just like hang out here for a little bit. In case you need to speak to any of them. There's Red Hammer. Maybe we should just have a quick chat with him again and see what he says about the entire situation. Assuming he's not really going to report us back to Gortash. But, you know, Gortash already knows what's going on anyway.
Woo! What a ride! I won't forget it anytime soon. And Cap neither. I might have underestimated you before. Won't do that again. Thanks for the adventure.
Alright. Yeah, he's alright. He's alright, I suppose. I'm glad we didn't have to steamroll him to try and get on that submersible. But would we even be able to pilot the submersible ourselves? Oh, hang on. What's going on here? We've got Will wanting to have a chat. Well, let's...
I failed. The heart of the gate is dead. We need to see my father. He should know what happened with Ansel.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure why he... Well, I guess maybe I did the whole Answer thing a little bit too early, according to some of the comments that I've been reading. Purely because I managed to open the door using a rat. But anyway, it happened. that was, you know, all organic. So let's just leave this place. Oh yeah, there's still this here to check out. I don't know where that leads, but I might actually go to camp and, you know, progress the story at the campsite, and we continue on from there. And I think in this episode we might do a bit of a review of a lot of equipment and also a review of skills and actual builds. With Holson, I may consider just respeccing him, but I have been saying respeccing on various people, particularly where their ability points, you know, are not even. We'll see how we go. I'll check in with everyone first, and then I'll have a chat with Ravengard.
Need something? How can I help?
Copper for your thoughts.
So, considering what happened with Ravengard, I mean, why is Mazora still here? And I'm surprised that they're not at each other's throats at this point.
Ready and waiting.
She doesn't say anything after all of that? That's a bit of a surprise.
Fate, spin.
Dost thou require a new app?
We'll come back to him when we eventually do, like, respecking and stuff.
Did you want something? If not, I'm perfectly happy.
I grow tired of these false faces. Every corner we turn, another. And now it is my face they use to turn Minsk against us. I am sorry, but I am just tired.
Why? We know Minsk is alive. Now we just have to find him.
It is some defect of the mind, I think, to stubbornly insist you are following the light, even as you blunder through the darkness. Or perhaps the defect is mine. When I left Minsk to this fate, I believed I had no choice. I believe it still. We were ignorant of our enemy, unarmed against the cult. I made the right decision, but I do not like how easily I made it. Minsk would have never left me behind, no matter what happened. That is his problem entire. The past century left Minsk unchanged. And so he believes the world has never changed, that I have not. You saw the fool, hanging on the doppelganger's every word for no other reason than it wears my face.
You don't have to explain, Jira. You're worried for a friend. It's not a crime.
No. But snotting into my sleeve while there is still work to do is. Come then. We need a lead on where these shapeshifters have fled to. Let's see what hints they left behind in the vault.
Oh, we already know that, right? They're in the sewers, so... That was good. Will?
To camp. Father should know of Ansur's fate.
Oakfather preserve you.
Alright, let's have a chat with Ravengard and see where this takes us.
First you cleave my heart in twain, now you shatter it to pieces. My son a monster, twisted beyond recognition. To think my blood flows through those veins. Is this my fate? To be freed from Gortash's hell, only to be trapped in yours?
It isn't what you think. It never was.
You turned your back on me, on your city, to chase the she-devil and her power. She stinks up the place even now. It is exactly what I think.
Damn. We could use the parasite. Yeah, let's do that. Because we can just show him, right?
Ravengard's tadpole clenches as your memories and wills flow into him.
My tears wounds. I'm in your mind.
The Grand Duke sees Mizora and her infernal sisters. He sees the agony in Will's face as an impossible choice is set before him.
No. My son.
The past becomes present, and Will's thoughts are laid bare. Ravengard sees Will partnering with Mizora to defeat Tiamat's cultists before they could lay siege to Baldur's Gate, and he sees everything beyond. The Nautiloid journey, the perilous path to Moonrise, the astral prism, and the Emperor within.
Will.
Everything I did for Baldur's Gate. I did for you.
It's the truth, Ravengard. Will has always been a faithful defender of Baldur's Gate.
My son. You sold your soul to save Baldur's Gate, and I cast you out for it. You gave yourself to the Hell's eternal fires so I might walk free. By the gods. Can you ever forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive. You wanted to protect the city. I only ever wanted the same.
You are a better man than most, and a better son than I deserve. I'll yet make amends, but My duty is first and foremost to the city and its people. There's something I must ask of you.
Go on.
Before I was captured, I was on a mission. Returning from Elturel, I discovered the plans of the Absolutists. I immediately realized the city couldn't defend itself against such an army. I didn't despair, because the city has a secret guardian, a worm that sleeps beneath. He can be called upon in times of great need. This is such a time. You've been trained in the ways of the great champions and proven to be one of them. The worm will answer your call. You must seek him out.
Do you mean Ansur? The worm is dead, Father. Where we might have once found a friend, we found only his bones, animated by an old grievance. But the heart of the gate still lives. In me, in my allies. In Ansur's defeat, I found my spirit renewed. For as long as devils and demons imperil the Sword Coast, they will be my prey. I am the Blade of Avernus.
Then go with my blessing. Be Faerun's great defender. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. Let these be the lights that guide you, my son. Hail, the Blade of Avernus!
Okay, good. They finally made up. I'm very happy about that. Does he say anything else?
The devil's stench lingers, but Will is yet a champion of the people. I'd hoped he'd join me on the council, but he is his own man. I couldn't be prouder.
Councillor Floric will be relieved to hear that you're alright.
Hells, Floric. While the Absolute commanded my mind, I condemned her to death and confined her in Worm's Rock prison. She stood by me even as the Hell's fires lapped at my feet. You must free her.
Been there, done that. Floric is free. She's gathering allies as we speak.
Tremendous news. She proves as loyal to you as she is to me. I couldn't bear it if she died by my command. May the Triad guide her steps.
Man, I mean, that thing with Floric, though, could have gone the other way, right? Like, we could have had to, like, defend ourselves from her. How did the Absolute cultists capture you?
I was returning from Elturel. My traveling party stopped at an inn, Joaquin's Rest, to lay our heads. It wasn't the heat that woke me. It was the scent. Cultists had set fire to the place. I don't remember being taken. Just the smoke burning my throat. Before I fell, I awoke in Moonrise Towers, inside one of those damnable pods. The rest, well, the rest goes without saying.
What was your business in Elturel?
A complicated one. I went to greet Elturel's High Overseer, only for the Archdevil Zariel to drag the city into the Hells. I've been touched by Avernus, been a plaything for demons. A tale for other places, other days.
So that whole city going into the Hells thing, that was quite recent, or is he living quite a long life? I just don't really understand in terms of like timeline how things work. Anyway, I'm gonna cut here, guys, because I'm gonna do a lot of experimentation, and then when we come back, hopefully I would have figured out what we're doing with equipment and also, you know, leveling and respecking for different folks. So I'll see you in a bit. Righto, guys, so I have been very busy, just, well, doing a couple of major things. One is selling a lot of stuff. I think we have enough money to buy stuff right now. I mean, yeah. 32k. I think that's just enough, you know. Hopefully we can go back to Dammon, buy the piece of armor or the armor set that a lot of people are saying, yep, it's worthwhile. Though I sort of wanted that to go to Lae'zel, so I'm not 100% sure if I really need to buy that now or what the deal is. I'm just looking at Shadowheart. She's got the flawed Helldusk armor, which is... I do quite like it. Yeah, so when she's hit by foes within 2 meters, it might take 1 to 4 damage. Superior plate, 1 less piercing damage. But I suppose maybe we could just replace her armor with the one that we're about to buy. And then when Lae'zel joins us, assuming she does join us again, we can actually give that to her. And yeah, I think that'd be a good plan. But let's just talk about some of the changes that I've made to equipment before we move on. So I have made a few changes here and there, nothing too drastic, but I should actually just show you guys. So Blue's now got Dolor Amaris in the offhand, and the reason we're doing this is because I did read a comment to say that I guess the buff or the boon triggers regardless of which weapon you're using. And that makes sense because when I read it, it says when you land a critical hit with a weapon or unarmed attack. It doesn't say specifically that it has to be this weapon. And when I read the unarmed attack part, well, you know, that essentially means that you can have this equipped somehow and still make like unarmed attacks or whatever, and will still be able to deal an additional 7 damage, provided we, you know, land a critical hit. So I think that's what we're going to do. I mean, Blue's been pretty good with crits lately, so being able to get really big numbers on crits would be beneficial, obviously. And yeah, so that's the main change there for Blue. Actually, I did also swap out the amulet that we had, and I decided to go with Fey Semblance amulet to have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, because with charisma, obviously, that gives us some benefits during dialogue, so that's the reason for it. Instead of the previous amulet, which was giving us, like, it was a one-time sort of spell that lasts for 10 turns, but it gives you, you know, I guess a benefit during conversations as well. So technically they're doing the same things, although this would come into play a lot more often. That's why I decided to sort of swap that out. We've also got Blue holding the Amulet of Wind Rider. Now, I know the spell doesn't exactly say like gaseous form. It has a similar icon, and my assumption is that it's the same, and therefore we could use it to traverse through, you know, areas where you could traverse using gaseous form. So again, it's one of those things that we'll switch to when we need to. And yeah, I had like that hat that gave us like a little bit of charisma or something like that. I decided to put that away, mainly because if we forget to switch back to it and not use the Helm of Baldur, that's a really, really big hit on us, you know, if we do go into combat without it. So yeah, I decided to not worry about that hat. Will. So Will's got a few changes here and there as well. So primarily his weapon. So I've decided to swap out Failure Aluve. It's been really good. I really like Failure Aluve, but I think the Duelist Prerogative is much, much better. And we should be able to dish out consistently a lot more damage without even needing to switch on any kind of skill. And yeah, I'm just considering though whether or not I want the additional 2 to armor class that we're getting with the shield. I mean, at first glance, yes, it makes sense to bring our armor class up to 20, but the benefit of the duelist's prerogative is this skill here, the jeweler's enthusiasm. And basically, it says while you're not dual wielding, you can make an additional melee attack with the jeweler. So I'm not 100% sure how that works. When they say with the jeweler, is that like us? It just says here, challenge to a duel. Challenge an enemy to attack you only, inflicting bleeding on the target. And then I suppose maybe what needs to happen is you need to challenge someone to a duel first, and then if you don't have a shield on, so if I just quickly take this off, you can see here that this becomes an option, and you can essentially make another attack using a bonus action. That seems really, really strong to me, to just try and whittle down enemies as fast as possible. So it does bring his armor class down though, so that's the biggest worry. I think I might go with it, purely because it's a mechanic that we've not seen before. I will keep the shield here, you know, just in case. I might even throw the shield in here, so if we're, you know, feeling like we want to just, you know, use the shield and re-equip the shield during combat, let's say we've got a free action or whatever, we can do that. So yeah, that's the plan there. And I've also got the flawed Helldusk helmets. We're graduating from Will's tiara, so this will give +2 bonus to saving throws against spells, and +1 constitution. And the big thing was the constitution, because I wanted to make sure that he can maintain concentration on haste. I believe constitution's the one that helps you maintain spells. So that's the idea. Because he consistently uses haste, right? So it's going to be bad if he loses concentration on haste on, you know, even if he's hasting someone else, right? Big risks there. With Karlach, not really much of a change. I've just put a few of her weapons away that we were no longer using and just using to throw, because we've got a couple of actual throwable weapons, and this trident is really, really good for throwing. And we sort of saw that in action in the previous episode, so I'm really happy about that. Yeah, no change to her equipment so far. I've given her a few bits and pieces, and I've been crafting quite a few different elixirs and potions and stuff, but primarily the elixir of bloodlust is something that I want her to continue to use every so often. Then there's Jaheira. We haven't exactly changed anything with Jaheira in terms of equipment, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with where Jaheira's at least for the moment. Depending on what happens with this armor piece that we end up giving to Shadowheart, maybe we can consider swapping out armor and stuff, although I don't think she can use heavy armor, so she might be limited to medium armor. Anyway, so that's how things are going with the re-equipment, and I do want to fetch Holson,
Don't waste the step.
just so that we can then respec him, because
Oakfather preserve
I want to make use of
There is no room
the
for me,
armor
I'm afraid.
that he's wearing at the
Perhaps
moment. So
dismiss another. Ready at your side.
okay, so let's actually he needs to be the one who speaks to Withers.
At once.
So we'll do a quick leveling process.
On all these
Does he always
harsh
make a
nights
comment
thou
on
hast
everyone's
sought
love life? Like, what's the deal? My love life is none of your business, skeleton.
Love is no domain of mine.
but it is often cited as the purpose of mortal life. Wherefore turnst thou from?
I really don't want to talk to you about this.
And thus
Anyway.
Fate, dost thou require a new ally? As thou desire.
So we can steal back all of the cash from Withers later. We don't need to worry about that immediately. Of course, he's going to remain a druid. We are going to remain with, I would say, Guidance has been consistently a good spell to choose for cantrips. But I believe we get a few other options for cantrips as well. This is the critical bit right here, right? So we definitely want a bit more in wisdom. And I would say wisdom and constitution is the main thing that we want to try and focus on. But I don't mind a little bit of dex as well. So this actually does look pretty good. So with my first feat, I'm going to just place 1 point in dex and 1 point in wisdom. And then we'll obviously spend a little bit more in wisdom to bring that up to 20. And I mean, I don't really know of another good feat to choose, so I might just put more into constitution, just to make sure that he can maintain spells and all that sort of stuff. That seems like a decent enough strategy. So I don't think I'm going to change any of the proficiencies, so let's continue. And yeah, let's do this leveling process. Should be pretty quick because, yeah, we can prepare all of the spells later anyway. So now the subclass is another crucial component here. So Circle of the Spores is what I'm going to go for to make use of this armor. And so what I'm looking forward to is being able to then throw down haste spores, and that should prevent us from needing potions of speed constantly, because I believe it gives you 3 turns of haste. So yeah, we'll see if we can utilize it. Come to think of it, maybe giving him alert at the beginning, alert to make sure that he takes his turn pretty early in the round might not be a bad option as well. That way, you know, generally speaking, when the group is still together, we can then drop haste spores, you know, when the group is still, you know, relatively close, and all of them will benefit. Maybe that's the strategy, actually, come to think of it. Anyway, sorry, I'm blabbering on. So yeah, spells, let's not worry about the spells right now, and let's just continue to level, and we'll deal with the spells at the very end. So cantrips, I'll go with Thorn Whip. And the idea with Thorn Whip is you can pull creatures to you, so if you have like AoE spells that are ongoing, perhaps maybe this is a good cantrip to have to pull enemies into, you know, damage that's in the environment. So let's take the ability improvement, so we do that. Let's not worry about spells there. Let's continue. What is this? Fungal infestation. Okay, so you can... I kind of feel like the Circle of the Spores is more like a druid necromancer option, which is kind of cool. We don't exactly have like a necromancer in the group. Yeah, let's continue. So the next feat, I believe there's one more feat, so we don't need to worry right now about choosing alert. But yeah, this looks decent to me. another cantrip. I think I'll take Poison Spray. And one more. And we should get one more feat, right? So, yeah, let's go with Alert here. That way we can go early and then do Haste Spores. Perfect. Alright, so now that we've done that, obviously all of our skills and all that sort of jazz has changed. So we're going to need to essentially rearrange all of this. I won't do it in this episode, but I need to be aware of this spell in particular here, Symbiotic Entity, and this is something that we want to do very, very early on. Actually, it probably is something that you can do just without even starting combat, right? Like, it doesn't have a timer, so it just lasts until long rest. So we should be doing that every single time we're using Holson. The only other thing is I should be also just placing down potions and whatnot, just so that we're prepared in case we need any of this stuff. And you may have noticed that I've done a bit of a clean out and also just a rearrangement of different types of potions available to people. Obviously we want better types of potions available to us when we are low on health. So, looks good. And yeah, so this is the key thing here. I was considering whether or not I should change the gloves, because I think what I ended up doing with some of the other guys is I did end up making a few changes with their equipment. So Shadowheart, for instance, no longer has the Amulet of Restoration. She's got the Amulet of the Devout, so it gives her a +2 bonus to spell save DC. And yeah, God's Will, additional use of Channel Divinity. I think that's applicable for her, right? Then there's Gale. I was considering giving that amulet to Gale, but then decided against it. And he's still got Fistbreaker Helm, which gives him +1 bonus to spell save DC. We've got this, the Quick Spell Gloves, and I was considering whether or not I wanted the, what was it called? It was a hat that let you sort of cast fire, but then it would do damage to yourself. Yeah, Pyro Quickness hat. But then by doing that, you would give yourself an additional bonus action. So I would assume the way to use this would be use your bonus action first for whatever you want to do, then use an action involving a fire spell, and then you would get another bonus action to use immediately after. But all things considered, I was, you know, thinking, oh, maybe that would be good with the quick spell bloody hell, the quick spell gloves. But this is something that you can only use once per long rest. Sorry, my bad, short rest, rather. So, yeah, it doesn't exactly synergize as well as I thought it would. So, there you go. But, yeah, what else did we change? So not too much change for Gale. Didn't change anything for Astarion, so that's sort of the long and short of it. Well, I guess that was a bit long-winded, wasn't it? So let's do a long rest, and I'm keen to see if anything happens as a result of us saving the Duke, and whether or not he gets along with Mizora, who knows? Who knows? So let's just check in with everyone. I really don't know if anyone says anything new. I don't see any exclamation marks.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Yes? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Hey, soldier.
Right. Raven Guard. I don't know if he says anything different at night.
Hail!
Okay.
Good.
I haven't really said this just yet, right? I think Minsk might have fled down into the sewers.
The Undercity is perilous. But I recall Minsk making a home down there in the old days. To plant his boot on the very bosom of evil. Or some such. I'll mark an entrance, I know. From there, we shall just have to follow our noses.
I think we'll play around with Halsin for a little bit, just to get used to his Circle of Spores subclass.
Oakfather preserve you. Always good to talk, my friend.
Okay, well, nothing going on. Let's just see what happens when we sleep. Nothing, apparently. I guess the main thing, really, was just making sure that Ravengard was safe in our camp. Just taking a look around. Yeah, no exclamation marks or anything along those lines. I think it's time for us to leave, and there's a couple of things I wanted to do. One being returning to the Gondians in
I brought my own pair.
the factory, in the foundry rather, and I also want to go to the market area in front of Sorcerer's Sundries. Yeah, the reason why I'm out here and not back at the warehouse is because I've been doing a lot of selling of our stuff. So I suppose I'm just going to make my way to the cargo warehouse once more. Actually, one second. No, let's start here, and let's cross off the market area in front of Sorcerer's Sundries first. And the reason I'm coming back here is because while I was doing my selling and stuff, a cutscene did trigger with a specific character, so I just wanted to show you guys that.
Cliffgate? That can't possibly be you, can it?
Fitz! If you aren't a sight for sore eyes.
Where the hell's have you been, girl? Last I heard you'd run off to Neverwinter, and that was what? 10 years ago?
Neverwinter? Who told you that?
Gortash. Said you didn't even give notice.
Ha! That prick, but... Never mind that. Look at you. The years have been good to you.
I won't lie. They have.
We'll let them catch up uninterrupted.
Well, go on, girl. Tell me everything.
First thing first, you saw the news, didn't you? About Archduke Gortash.
Right? Oh, I'm sure the fox will make a great duke of the hen house.
I think you were the only thing that kept him a little honest. After you left, things got dark, fast. I got out while my soul was still intact. Started working for an arms merchant. Still in the trade, as you can see. Met my fella Gregor that way. Been together 8 years now. And Karlach, we've a little one on the way.
Fitz! That's incredible! Congratulations! Mum life, huh? You're going to be incredible.
Gods, I hope so. Even after all these years, it seemed to happen so fast. But now that you're back in town, you must come to ours. All of you. We'll have a good supper, catch up. You can meet Gregor. And the little one, in a few months. Are the two of you together?
Ew, no. Just mates. Very good mates.
Oh, that's lovely. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I can't tell you how good it is to see you, Fitz. I'd love to come have dinner with you and Gregor. We're in the city on some urgent business, but can I come find you when it's all settled?
I'd love that. Meanwhile, if you're still in the business of intimidation, you should take a look at my stock.
Nice. I really like Karlach's interactions with the city in general, you know. Keeps a lot of stuff, like, grounded. Like her emotions and the emotional roller coaster she goes through. I thought I bought all of the arrow of many targets from here. Look, I've got a lot. Should I buy more? Man. Let's not worry about it.
Back, Karlach.
I've done so much like buying and selling, so I kind of want to move on from that. Let's have a chat with Karlach after all of that.
Hope that wasn't a lie. I hope we do get to meet up with Fitz when this is all over. First step, save the city. Then, save myself. And last but not least, dinner with an old friend. What more could you ask for?
Good goals. Oh, got a T-poser there. Yeah, this... what is going on, man? This game still has a few rough edges, but it's fantastic though. Alright, so I guess we don't really need to portal anywhere. We can try and get to the warehouse from here, so shouldn't be too difficult to do. Down this way. So yeah, the only reason why I want to go to the warehouse again is because, well, there was that opening that we didn't exactly check out before the end of... Was it the end of the previous episode? No. We sort of decided to go to camp afterwards, and then I've been busy buying and selling, and then changing all of our gear and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't suppose going through the front door is still, you know, like it might still not be an option, so let's not piss a whole bunch of people off. So we should be able to make it down there. And one thing that I have forgotten to do, which we do need to address, is just, you know, giving everyone Longstrider and just doing a whole bunch of prepping, actually.
What path lies before me?
Is that everyone? I think so. Will.
The pride of the gate.
Let's do Armor of Agathis. Let's chuck that on. Restore your spell slot. And Paulson, let's not forget, symbiotic entity. Yeah, nice. And so now he's got all these abilities thanks to symbiotic entity, but the main one that we're looking at is this, haste spores. So we can only do it once per long rest though, I think. So we've got to keep that in mind. But yeah, this in combination with, you know, haste potions and haste scrolls, we should have hopefully a really good time. And then there's all this other stuff that we can also do using bonus actions as well, like spreading spores seems pretty good to me. Alright, so...
Can't give up now.
Scratch. And let's do our usual. And with Wholesome, I actually didn't prepare my spells, did I? So let me just quickly fix that up right now before we proceed further. And I do kind of want Conjure Elemental. We'll probably be able to use like healing spells with Wholesome. So again, still thinking that he's going to be an alternate healer from Shadowheart. Let's see. Level 2 spells. Moonbeam seems alright. Dark vision might be decent. I really don't like the list of level 3 spells that we've got. But maybe you guys can let me know if any of the level 3 spells are any good. None of them seem to be damage dealing. I might go with something like Flame Blade. Spike Growth. Then level 4 spells. The Woodland Being and Minor Elemental probably not required anymore. Ice Storm and Wall of Fire would be good. And I don't know about Restoration. Let's do Heal. I know it's another level 6, so we're gonna have to decide whether or not we want to deal damage or we want to do a big heal. But I think that looks good for the moment. And yeah, with all of these spells now decided, I mean, there are a few other additional spells that we get just from the class itself, like Cloud Kill, for instance. I'm kind of looking forward to using that. Blindness. Yeah, anyway, let us do a elemental. And I think I'll do... I quite like the water elemental, to be fair. And let's do Long Strider on that as well.
Let's move. No one back home will ever believe this.
Time to go.
If not over.
And let's go back down into the basement and let's have a look around. Just gonna have a quick poke around through that opening. And if it leads into the sewer, then what we could do is we could, again, backtrack and, you know, check out the surface first, obviously, before then proceeding back into the sewer.
You're old as sin, right, Halsin? You must have lots of good stories.
A few. But people always warm to the most salacious chapters.
The most salacious chapters.
They forget how much I study, meditate, and, as a bear, hibernate. I must have spent 100 years or more asleep.
Ah, sleep and adventure. Maybe I'll come back as a bear in some future life.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. I did need to just step away for a little bit there. We're sort of in the middle of a conversation between Karlach and Halsin. And she's basically called him old. She's a bit rude. Well, no, she's just being direct. A grease bowl. Kobolds, finally. Okay, we are seeing some kobolds in the area. Let's just do a quick save here, just in case. I'm also just mindful that we still need to get back to the warehouse. This place is huge. And then there's like a vault door there. And another door there. Okay. There's a lot to see here, I feel. So what I might do is just take a look at this room first, but then I feel like we need to circle back around. I want to get to the Gondians and tell them if things are safe. Map of the sewers. A filthy tattered map of the sewers realized in uneven, scraggly lines. There is an area marked with an X. Next to this, it says, Bugthimble Dragon Tribe Treasure. So has that updated something in the sewers? Not very evident. Oh, right here maybe. Okay. We'll come back to it. Let me just circle around this way to see this body over here. Darrow Vin. Impenetrable slumber. This guy's alive. Copious sleeping drafts. It is impossible to wake them. What? I mean, I can see that there's a lot of empty potion bottles here. I wonder if there's a way. Yeah, you can cast spells on this guy. I wonder if there's a spell to wake someone from slumber. But if he's drank all of the potions himself, he wants to be sleeping, right? So... But I do want to wake him. Even if it's against what he wants exactly. So... We'll have to figure that out. Okay, some of us failed a perception check there. Ah, okay. That was the thing. There was a trap.
A couple turns should do.
But none of us took any damage, so... That's good. A note? Nice try. Jackanap. Jackanappy? Jackanap? Okay, so it was... simply a trap. What was that for? Maybe for the same thing over here. Okay. Tell you what, guys, let's go back and let's get ourselves to the foundry. Should be easy to get there, actually, because we have a like sigil somewhere near there, right? Is it Grey Harbor Docks that we want? Yep. So we should be able to go back in. So once the Steel Watchers are dismantled, we should be able to check out this area, right? Because they're guarding that boat. I wonder if there's just like a whole bunch of tadpoles in there. Let's do a quick save, just in case. Oh.
We have your designs, we have your methods. We have no more use for you. We are the greatest engineers in the realm. You need us to maintain the Steel Watch.
Yeah, there's another Black Gauntlet here. Okay, they're about to turn on the Black Gauntlet.
You have beaten and tormented us to the brink of insanity. You cut out my eyes, but we will bow no more. Gondians! Rip the motivator from this bastard's hands! For Gond!
Okay, couple of them. Definitely want to make sure that these guys survive. So... these guys are a little bit too close. Wholesome. Wholesome is awesome because because of the alert that we put onto him, he goes pretty early, and I'm very, very happy about that. So the haste spores, these are really good, but it's a very small circle, isn't it? I think what I could do is maybe just bring Blue back here. What about the elemental? Can't really get the elemental a little bit closer, but that is decent though. We're getting quite a few of our guys in. If not all. Nice. Okay, so provided we end everything in 3 turns, things should be
sometimes the only way out
all right.
is through.
Let's do brace. And let's do Hunter's Mark. Just trying to see if there's anything special here that we need to think about. Oh yes, there's the crystal that we need to deal with at the end of the fight. Just gonna try and focus fire, really. Ooh. Ooh, that was big damage. I like that. Yeah, luck of the far realms. Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. I don't know if this is overkill for us to use the haste spores in this fight because there are not a lot of enemies, but I couldn't help myself, guys. I just wanted to try it out.
Nature's fury shall not be checked.
So let's see. Trying to see what would be good to use. Bibba bang. I wonder if this lasts. Yeah, okay, 3 turns. So it's probably not the best thing to use if you want like melee attackers to close in. Let's try to get in a little closer. We'll do that. Let's pull him in a little closer to us. And we could do fungal infestation. We've got charges for them. Interesting. Oh, I have to be quite close to do it. We'll maybe go for that one. Okay, so you use up a reaction in this case. So then he won't be able to react anymore. Makes sense. Can I reach it? Yes. Oh man, do like this. Let's maybe back out a little bit. But you know, Karlach might just finish everything for us at this point. Let's go in with Frenzy.
Want another?
Done and done. Oh yes, that's right. We do need to get the motivator. Well, Karlach can do that.
Another round. Another one down. Just in time.
Cool. Why is this guy floating though? There seems to be a lot of buggy stuff happening in this episode. Not gonna lie. Right, so the Gondians have been saved. It is running out immediately. Let's have a chat with one of them at the very least.
What happened to Obelia? Is she safe?
She is, don't worry.
My heart. I thought her lost. I would give more than just my sight to keep her safe. Our destination is the Neurosita, the nerve center of the Steel Watch. Guide me there, and I'll do the rest.
Agreed. Let's finish this.
My fellow Gondians, flee this prison. We're bringing this place down.
Yeah, I definitely used the haste spores a little too early. That's okay. It's alright. We should just check in with corpses and stuff. Send that to camp.
Time to press ahead.
And yeah, they're some of the ones that we killed in the previous time we rolled through.
Open up.
Okay, so let me just take a look at the journal here. A few things have updated. Disable the Steel Watch. Xander Tubin, one of the Gondians, agreed to help us destroy the Steel Watch foundry. We have to guide him to the lower levels of the facility. So I guess just back to where we've already visited before. Perhaps maybe if I hadn't gone there prior, maybe with the Gondians up top already freed, maybe they would have convinced the Gondians down below to rebel. Gather your allies. Yeah, okay. Just a list of who's helping us. Aid the Underduke. Yeah, okay. Save the Gondians. We need to go to the Foundry Depths in order to destroy it. Along the way, we can liberate any Gondians we meet. They know we're coming and will help us. Yeah, we need to go back to the Society as well. Okay. So, I presume we just need to go into the elevator and head down. I don't know if that's, like, is that the best way?
Burn this place to the ground, and the Bay Knights with it.
I want my house, and my cat, and my wife. I want this all to go away.
So there was a guy over here, right? And... oh no, he's the same guy, right? The one who lost his eyes. I think that was the same guy who was just loitering around this area. We could probably take a quick look around for other stuff. Regarding the Gondian gnomes, evading the Elder Brain, hostage census. Banite Confidential. Though it's important to cooperate with our siblings who worship Merkel and Baal, remember that Bane is the tyrant. It is Bane who rules. Subversion and capture of Gondian operations in Baldur's Gate is a Banite project, particularly as regards the gnomish artificers. They are ours, or more particularly mine. They are not to be tadpoled, as that would expose them to control through the absolute hierarchy. Instead, they are to be locked in incineration collars that are remote controlled by Prinsky motivators. I want those gnomes aware of what they are doing and deeply unhappy about it. When the Watcher project is complete and the artificers are of no use, the survivors will then be tadpoled, Lord Gortash. I feel like we did read that before. The Emperor as interrogated by Gortash, Part 3. Gortash, when we captured you, you were a rogue, an autonomous illithid beyond the power of the Elder Brain that transformed you. That is correct. When we brought you back into the psionic ambit of our hovering friend, the Absolute, your defenses were overwhelmed and you returned to your former servile state. Also correct. How did you escape the control of the Elder Brain in the first place? In my original humanoid form, I possessed an exceptionally strong personality, so much so that even after ceramorphosis I was still substantially myself. Of course, I concealed this beneath a semblance of perfect servitude. And that's why the Elder Brain was willing to send you out of the colony on scouting missions. Yes, as I told you before. How long did you feign mental slavery before you were able to escape? 13 3/4 years. Until finally you were given a mission to Baldur's Gate, distant enough to be out of the Elder Brain's control. That is correct. Remarkable. That is correct. And you don't mind that we've brought you back under psionic control? I am entirely devoted to the needs of our Elder Brain and of its masters. You're not lying about that, right? Correct. That would be impossible. And the hostage census. Iron Throne hostages. Tuesday roll call. Obelia Tubin, Phoenix Lubbins, Hastar Biggs, Marlono Randall. Roll call interrupted by attempted escape of Flo Hapgood, deceased. Addition, Alder Ravengard arrived via submersible, detained in solitary confinement. Alright, I think this might be a good place for us to just wrap up this episode, guys. I know a little bit of a mixed bag, a lot of administrative stuff happening with all of our characters and equipment, but I think that's kind of set us up for, I guess, better episodes to come, and hopefully we'll have a better time in combat as things progress. Drop a like down below if you enjoyed it, stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.